Hello. Hello. Welcome to Split Bill. My name is Bill Poss. I'm your host. And my guest today on the show is a gentleman by the name of John Wort Hannam. Hannam. I say it wrong all the time, but I try to get it right. But since I've been typing it out lately, it's easier to remember. John Wort Hannam is a great singer and songwriter. I call him a folk singer. His singing style reminds me, because I've only recently become acquainted with his music, reminds me a little bit of young Tom Russell. And so Susie is on time for the show today. Susie, good to see you. Hope Daryl's with you there. So I'm going to sing an old Woody Guthrie song, having nothing to do with any of that. But we have a rally, peaceful demonstration on the courthouse lawn here in Effingham on Saturday, and I'm going to sing this song. And so I thought I'd run through it, maybe inspire some folks. It's a song by Woody Guthrie. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me the endless skyway. I saw below me a golden valley. This land was made for you and me. And I roamed that ramble, I followed my footsteps to sparkling sands of verdant deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. When the sun came shining, but I was strolling in the waving, and the dust clouds rolling. The voice was chanting as the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining and I was strolling in the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling, the voice came chanting as the fog was lifting. It said this land was made for you and me. Well, I went walking, I saw a sign there, and on that sign it said no trespassing, but on the other side it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Oh, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. All right, what do you got for your song for you there? That's my way of getting prepared for our peaceful demonstration that we're having on the Courthouse Square in Effingham on Saturday at 1 o'clock. You're welcome to join us if you're of such a mind to do so. I hope you will. Anyway, hey, John Wort Hannam, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. You're... I'm checking out the messages here. We got with the usual characters showing up. Yes, thank you. We got Mr. Doug Winters from Red Barn Corner, Susie all the way from Port Dover, Ontario, Stephen Butler from Arkansas, and Lisa Gruel-Braun from Burlington, Wisconsin. This is like a support group. We're here every day together. Thank you for joining us.
I love Port Dover, Ontario.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. Sorry? Agreed.
Beautiful place.
Yeah. I was trying to find a way to sail to Port Dover, Ontario, because my kid lives there half the time, and I want to go see him. I haven't seen him in 2.5 months.
Right.
But I'm told by Susie that's a bad idea to try to sail to a different country without permission.
Yeah, I would do it now.
Susie says we love you. You know Susie and Daryl?
I do.
Yeah, I figured you probably did.
If it's the Susie I'm thinking of, yes.
Yeah, it must be. She lives in Port Dover, Ontario. How many could there be? So I'll tell very briefly. I'll tell the story of how we met. I had been hearing your name from Susie and Daryl, but also from a great guitar player and songwriter performer from Toronto called Mike Kerr. And Mike is a buddy of mine. He's the Useful Tool, and we did a little tour of Canada last summer. Had a great time, and he was talking you up. Then I was at the Folk Alliance in New Orleans, and I'm sitting at a table with a guy that I didn't know, and you walked up and started talking to him
Right.
and telling this great story about how you glued your glasses. Your glasses had broken in the middle, and you glued them together, and in the process, glued the glasses to the bridge of your nose. I was laughing. At the same time I was laughing, I was thinking, damn, my glasses are broken too. I wonder if you'd help me fix. So I asked you I said, excuse me, do you have any of that glue? And well, the long story is you ended up helping me fix my glasses. And then I asked what your name was. Maybe I looked at your name tag and I saw your name was John Wort Hannam. And I was like, I know who you are. So
Yep.
that's how we
So
became best friends.
I've broken these glasses 3 times since then, and each time I glue them back together. Unfortunately, the last time I glued them together, um, I didn't quite put them exactly straight. So I actually have one lens going this way and the other lens going slightly at an angle. And so if I tilt my head a lot while I'm doing this, it's because I'm focusing on one eye and then the other.
Are they prescription glasses or are they just readers?
Oh no, no, they're prescription. They're progressives. So it gets even worse because I'll be reading at night and this eye is in focus, and then as I go across the page, I have to tilt my head this way. I look like a dog. You know when a dog does that? That's what I look like.
Nice. Well, yeah, that sounds interesting to watch. I'm glad I can just go to the dollar store for $3 and get a new pair of glasses.
Yeah, yeah.
John, Susie's asking for you to speak up a little bit. And so is
Speak up.
Stephen. Yeah, maybe get
How
closer to
about
your
if I
mic.
lean into the mic a bit more?
Yeah,
That
that's
might work.
good.
Okay.
That's good. So you're in Lethbridge, Alberta.
I am. I moved to Lethbridge about 3 years ago, and
From where?
from Fort Mac. I lived in Fort McLeod, Alberta, for about 18 years, and that's just a very small little 3,000 person town. It's like you would imagine, prairie town.
Yeah, I've been
Um,
there.
yeah. Oh, right. Okay. So, and then before that, I was in Lethbridge at university, and so it's sort of like coming back to Lethbridge.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we played a show in Fort McLeod, and then we left right as it was getting dark. It was like 11 at night or something, and it was getting dark. And for those of you who don't know, say Fort McLeod, Fort Mac, I think they call it, right?
Well,
Uh,
Fort Mac is what they call Fort McMurray, which is
oh, maybe that's
more
where I
south.
was. Maybe that's where I was.
Okay.
Where's Fort McLeod?
So Fort McLeod's down south, like not that far from the Montana border.
Oh, I know where it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Down by the park there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I had it totally backwards. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I've been to Fort McLeod, but Fort McMurray's way, way, way up there in the north.
Yeah.
So I had a very blurry drive home from there, and not home, back to Edmonton, and I had this dream, like waking dream, as I was driving the bus that I took the wrong turn and I went north to Slave Lake or something. I don't know where it was exactly, uh, but it involved acid. I mean, I was not on acid, but the dream that I was having involved acid.
Right.
Anyway, Northern Lights are great on acid, as it turns out.
Yeah, apparently. I would know.
No, I wouldn't either, but I'd like to find out. So, hey, why don't you sing us a song, John?
Sure. Yeah. This is a song. I have an 8-year-old son named Charlie, and he's a great kid. And when this whole isolation started, I realized that I had been telling my kid to hurry up a lot. Hurry up, get your shoes on, get your scooter, whatever, grab your coat, hurry up, go to bed, get in the shower. And I've really been enjoying this time with him out of school. It feels like that time before he went to school all over again, except now he doesn't, crap his diaper all the time anymore. So that's an added bonus. Um, Anyhow, I wrote a song about how it's kind of important to slow down a little bit. It's called Hurry Up Kid. Hurry up, kid, going too slow. Me and your mama are dying to know. We had a big fight building your crib till we hung a mobile above it. I quit smoking, your mama is showing. Boy, she's glowing. We can't wait to say hello. Hurry up, kid, you're going too slow. You're going too slow. Hurry up, kid, you're going too slow. Smelling the roses, watching them grow. I got a big job way downtown. I got no time messing around. Time is money, it don't grow on trees. Are you listening to me? When you're older you will know. Hurry up, kid, you're going too slow. You're going too slow. And it ain't time life if it ain't living. Get it right with the time you're given. Oh, I'm just trying to make it last. Yeah, I'm just trying to make it last. Slow down, kid, you're going too fast. How the years just fly right past. I'll have a big cry on the day you spread your wings and fly away. But I'll keep watching, I'll keep listening. Don't want to miss a thing. Take your time is all I ask. Slow down, kid, you're going too fast. You're going too fast. I'm just trying to make it last. Oh, I'm just trying to make it last. Yeah, I'm just trying to make it last. Oh, I'm just trying to make it last. Thanks a lot.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Thank you. I'm having some latency issues, so I just took off my cans while I'm singing.
I really like the way you built in the space in the song that kind of manifested the message of the song. It was
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've
really
been writing a lot
cool.
with a band in mind because I've been playing a lot as a 3-piece, 4-piece, and sometimes even a 5-piece, and it makes you think differently when you're writing songs. I find that you're imagining the parts and what the other players are sort of doing, and at least for me, it makes me write a little differently. Maybe not lyrically, but sort of just like you say, leaving some space and time.
Yeah. I've been writing songs that have horns, should have horns in them, and I have been trying to learn how to vocalize the horns because I don't have any horn players.
Right.
But it's man can dream.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you have to buy yourself an old trumpet and
Yeah, well,
get your lips puckered.
I don't know about all that, John.
Okay.
I could play a trumpet 20, 25, 30 years ago, but
right.
So you have an 8-year-old son, and I have an 11-year-old son. I know that kind of age is pretty amazing. My kid is just entering adolescence or puberty, I guess you'd say, and it's really, really hard to let go of the little kid,
Yeah, I'm already noticing over the last few months, my son is more and more comfortable away from us, me and my wife. The other day, he asked if he could take his scooter, a couple blocks around and stuff like that. And I'm
Wow.
I'm sort of seeing him start to be a bit more independent, which I love. I love that he has the confidence to go outside and be alone. But I also, yeah, I miss that too. I still grab him and or manhandle him and give him hugs and kisses and stuff like that. But I know there's going to come a window, or it's a short window, and there's going to come a time where it's not cool to hang out with dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
And
hoping he's going to come around again. I kind of remember that as a kid when I was sort of gaining my independence and wanting to hang out more with my friends. Um, but I came back around, and I love hanging out with my parents now. My dad's 80, my mom's 75, and I really cherish that time that I actually haven't seen them for 8 weeks because my parents both are immune compromised, and they live in Calgary. But I really cherish that time because I know it's limited.
yeah,
Again, my dad's 80. He's lived longer than anybody in his family, and so I'm just hoping, take advantage of that time.
right on. Well, I lost my dad 12 years ago, and I miss him every day. He played banjo with me, and we would often play music together. So I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I used to come to Lethbridge at least once, if not twice a year, when we were touring through Canada all the time, and we played at a place called the Slice
Sure.
in down on 8th Street or something. But
Yeah.
but I remember having a particularly unpleasant time in Lethbridge because the guy who owned the parking lot next to the Slice gave us a bunch of trouble about parking there. We had these two big vehicles. I had an RV and Fred had a bus,
Yeah.
and we were parked in there. And they came out and yelled at us, and it was not even just like, "Hey, would you mind moving your bus? You're in our parking lot." It was like just yelling at us, and
Right.
so we yelled at him, and he yelled at us, and it was a lot of yelling. But
Well, you'll be happy to know the Slice is still there,
nice.
and the guy is still there that will yell at you if you park there.
Well, the blessing was that we drove around the block trying to find a place to park, and we drove through the alley back there. There's a Japanese restaurant around the corner from the Slice, and they had the most primo used vegetable oil I had ever seen, and I sucked about 50 gallons of that stuff out and put it into my diesel tank, and so he cost us a lot of quarters for parking, but he saved us about $200 in fuel, so that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Worked that
Right
good.
on.
Well, here's a question that I have for you. I ask this frequently of my guests because I find it fascinating. What is the worst gig that you ever had?
That's easy. It was a house concert in New Jersey, and I pulled up to the door, and as I was approaching the door to knock on it, I could hear arguing inside. I could hear a man and a woman having quite a loud argument with a lot of cursing, a lot of mean uh, names about genitalia, things like that. And
Whoa.
um, anyhow, I remember I knocked on the door, and the first thing I said is, "Is everything okay?" And the guy looks at me and he goes, "Who are you?" And I said, "Oh, I'm John. I'm here to play." "Oh, yeah, yeah. Come inside." So I came inside, and they quieted it down, but they continued to sort of nip at each other. And I finally just said to them, "It doesn't sound like this is a good day for a show. Why don't we just, let's not do it, and I'll just mosey on." And the guy said to me, "There's a lot of people coming tonight. Show's happening." I said, "Okay, all right." So we they kind of nitpicked at each other throughout dinner. Oh, that's right. And the other thing the guy said to me is, "Do you want to do some coke?" And I said, "No, like I'm not. I don't really do that." And so no thanks. Um, and then they drank heavily throughout dinner, and um, and then right before the show, he wanted to show me his gun collection. And I grew up with guns in my house. My dad was a hunter. There was always a deer rifle and a shotgun for birds. So I was sort of looking. I know a tiny bit about those things and guns, and so I was looking at his collection. And but I'd never seen handguns before, and so he showed me his handguns, and um, same thing. I just sort of, oh yeah, they look great. I don't know anything about them. And then I did the show, and then I went up to sort of the room that I was staying in, and it was late at this point. It was probably 1 a.m. in the morning, and I had a bunch of emails, and I wanted to see how far it was to the show the next day and things like that. So I open up my lapbook, my MacBook, and I'm lying on the bed, clothed, and there's a knock at the door, and I go, it's now like 1:30 in the morning, and I go, hello, and the door opens, and the lady's head kind of sticks through the little gap in the door, and she says, uh, and I need to preface this by saying this never happens to me. But the woman said, "Can I make you a bit more comfortable?" And I go, "Oh no, 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 I'm good. I'm good. Thank you know." I didn't say it, but I wanted to say, "Your husband just did coke, and he has a whole bunch of handguns. And even if I was into that, no thanks." And so I set my alarm for about 4 o'clock in the morning, and it went off, and I quietly got dressed, and I'd already packed up my gear the night before and left it by the door because I knew my plan. And I quietly opened the door, and I put my stuff in the rental van, and I drove off.
Oh my God, that's a fantastic story.
Yeah,
Did you ever hear from him again?
never.
Never. Wow, that's delicious.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's others, but that's the worst one and the best one. Do you know what I mean? Like
Totally, yeah,
such a great story.
totally. What? Do you mind playing another song?
Sure. Yeah. I'm going to take these headphones off while I do it. So I wrote this after reading a friend's Facebook post uh, who was saying that she was 2,500 miles away from sort of her partner during when this whole isolation and pandemic started. And it got me thinking how lucky I was to be around the people that I love. I'm with my wife and my son, and how lucky I am, and that some people out there aren't with the people that they want to be. So this is called On the Other Side of the Curve. Well, I know you're hurting, I know you're blue, all that's uncertain weighing on you. I know this burden is meant for two. I wish I were there to carry it too. But I'll bring the love that you need, and I'll bring the love you deserve. It's you I can't wait to see on the other side of the curve. On the other side of the curve. And I think of leaving nighttime the most. I go weaving along the back roads. I come to your back door and steal a kiss. That's what I think of moments like this. But you'll bring the love that I need, and you'll bring the love I deserve when you'll be waiting for me on the other side of the curve. On the other side of the curve. So go to your window wherever you are. Look to the heavens and look to the stars. Wish for each other and wish for the moon. Wish we're together, none too soon. We'll bring the love that we need, and we'll bring the love we deserve when we finally meet on the other side of the curve. On the other side of the curve. Thank you.
Beautiful. You're getting some nice comments. I don't know if you can see the comments, but there's a on the tab up there. There's a comments bar. You can live comments or something. You can keep up what people are saying.
All right. I won't look in case anybody boos. I know, I'll feel weird.
John's worst gig beats all yours combined, Bill. Right. Susie, it was in New Jersey. He said he won't tell us exactly the exact location.
No.
And you're getting some nice kudos from Doug Winters on your songs. So I will tell you just very, very quickly, your story reminded me a little bit of an event. It was not a gig. I was between gigs, but I was driving at a pretty good distance. And I saw from the highway, I saw this roadhouse, but there was no exit. So I went to the next exit and I found my way all the way back to this roadhouse. And they were having karaoke. But I walked in with my guitar and the guy was like, "Oh, good, someone's going to play some music." And I was like, "All right, buy me a beer. I'll play some music." So I got up and played. And he said after they were closing, it was late, and he said, "Hey, I have a deer cabin behind my house. You can sleep in the deer cabin if you want." And I said, "Oh, great! It's great." So I went back to his house, and we each had a beer, and I was on the couch, and I laid down on the couch, and I said, "I'm getting pretty sleepy." And he said, "Okay, that's fine. Just go to sleep." So I went to sleep, and I woke up. It's not really that funny, but it was interesting, at least. I woke up probably an hour later, and he was standing there, like leaning up against the wall, but he had something in his hand, and I was like, "What's he?" And I looked at him, and he had a straw sticking to a cup, and I learned he was smoking meth, and so I thought I pretended to be asleep for a while, and I thought, well, obviously he wants to talk to somebody, or he wouldn't be in here, So I got up and I talked to him for a couple hours, and he told me this whole story about how he got addicted to drugs while he was driving his wife around in a band. They had a bus, and he was the driver, and he got addicted to meth. And anyway, it was an interesting.
That is yeah.
He finally left me about 4 a.m, I think, and I got about 3 hours of sleep before I had to leave the next day.
Well, that's good. He's had someone to talk to, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess that's one of our roles. Usually, we're the ones who are doing the talking, but sometimes it's our job to listen.
That's true.
About guns and cocaine.
Yeah.
So, have you had a productive hiatus from performance, or are you writing songs, recording? What are you doing?
Right when it started for us, like I remember my first gig got canceled on March 18th, and I wrote about 5 or 6 songs in about 5 or 6 days, and but then it kind of stopped, and so I kind of put my attention to other things, like trying to figure out streaming and things like that, and I bought a little interface and downloaded some software. I've been trying to figure out just a part of my brain that I'm not great at. I'm not great at technical stuff and audio and visual and stuff like that. So I spent some time doing that. I have to teach my son, so he has daily lessons that the school send, and I've been doing a lot of that. I've been doing some house renovations, building, which that's the other thing I love to do. My dad's a carpenter, so he's passed down some rudimentary skills to me, and I love to swing a hammer and build stuff. I can't do any finishing work, but fences and decks and
Yeah.
planter boxes and stuff like that. I find it a lot of fun.
Are you mechanical, like with cars and stuff?
Not at all.
No.
I couldn't tell you where the spark plugs are in my van. I wouldn't know.
That's how I was when I started touring with Fred. But once
Yeah.
I once I was on the road with Fred for very long, I could rebuild a alternator, after a while. But I had the impression like all Canadians have like some manly skills. Uh, all the songwriter performer types at
Yeah.
least. Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems like they're always telling me about the stopping. Lance Lurie.
Yeah. Sure.
They're like, oh, yeah, we stopped with Lance and helped him build some stuff, and or took care of his animals. I don't know. Just that it always struck me as like there's manly songwriters.
Well, if I have any manly ness, it has nothing to do with motors. That's for sure. It lies in other areas.
Well, I'm interviewing Carol and Mark tomorrow. I'll have to ask her if she has any manly skills.
Yeah. Yeah. She might.
She uses some manly language. I'll say that.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So if you're going to tune in for tomorrow's show, Carol and Mark is the queen of Vancouver Island, and she's one of my favorites up that way, and I can't wait to talk to her. But it will likely be a somewhat profane show, so be prepared for that.
So we're actually in a unofficial songwriting club. Carolyn, myself, Shayla Miller from Lethbridge, Steve Ford from Lethbridge, a couple other songwriters from Victoria, a couple from Calgary. And we give ourselves this challenge that at the start of every month, we have to write a song and we have to send it to each other on Facebook. So we just actually sent each other songs June 1st.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So ask her about that maybe.
Yeah, I'll talk to her about it. That's
a lot
cool.
of fun. Yeah.
Do you find that kind of pressure productive?
Yeah, I mean, it does put a little bit of a fire under your butt to get something done, but at the same time, it's not serious enough that I sit there and go, "Oh my God, this song's not done." If it's half-assed done, I send it. And I go, "Okay, that's good enough."
Do you have a specific topic you have to write about, or what's just
Nope.
any song?
No, you just have to send a song in. They say that if you don't do it, it's $100 fine. You have to pay everybody $100, but I've never seen that happen. So
Oh, wow, that's a lot of money.
it's a lot of money,
Even in Canadian dollars, that's a lot of money.
even in Canadian dollars. That's right.
Very good. Well, I guess I'd ask you to play another song unless you got something else.
Sure. Yeah. Let me tune this down to. Okay, I'm going to take these headphones off again. This is a song that I wrote a couple of years ago. It seems quite fitting, actually, for the events that are happening in the world. I know that Bill, you down in the States, the U.S. is in crisis right now, and I know there's a whole lot of rallies and protests and things like that happening in all the states, and they're happening here too. There's protests and um, anti-racist gatherings in Canadian cities as well, and including Lethbridge. But this is a song I wrote a couple years ago. It's called "Only Love." Sing for the weary, sing for the strong, those letting go and those still holding on. Sing for the lost and sing for the found, sing only love can save us now. And sing for the dreamers and those who don't dare, sing for the tyrant and those in the square. Sing for the soul that never backs down, sing only love can save us now. Let all the bells ring, let all the angels sing, let them all tell of one thing, only love. Yeah, only love can save us now.
and sing for the rebel, sing for the regime, sing for the refugee caught in between. Sing for a truce at the 11th hour. Sing, only love can save us now. Only love can save us now. Let all the bells ring. Let all the angels sing. Let them all tell of one thing. Only love. Yeah, only love can save us now. So sing from the towers and sing from the hills. Sing from the taverns and windowsills. Sing for the president, sing for the kings. Sing for your children, but above all sing. Sing it on out and sing it out loud. Sing, only love can save us now. Only love can save us now. Only love can save us now.
Thanks, Phil.
That's a beautiful song.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that.
When did you write that?
I wrote that when that horrible image of that boy, that 3-year-old boy, washed up on shore. He was on a raft and he washed up on shore on that Greek island.
Yeah,
And that photograph of him went around the world. And
right.
I just remember thinking, it can't get any worse for me. When I see that image, I just think that's horrendous. And yeah, it just got me thinking that uh, fear and it leads to hatred and all those things, and that really we just like these protests that are happening in the states, um, and these rallies and stuff like that. If we don't start to recognize differences and appreciate differences, and it sounds fluffy, but the truth is, if we don't have an open heart and love one another, we're not going to get there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I'm glad you said that. I was in the doctor's office this morning. I was supposed to give like a blood, I was having blood drawn. And I was just sitting in the waiting room for a long time. And this guy, I couldn't see them talking, but they were talking. I could hear them clearly. They were talking about this rally that I'm helping to plan on Saturday. And it very quickly went right into fear, like, oh, what if something bad happens? Or what if I heard there are people coming from out of town, and we haven't heard anything about this. The sheriff says it's not happening, but it doesn't help. We're trying to have a peaceful event, and you hear these people with these fearful hearts coming into it, and like that doesn't help. I mean, let's assume that it's going to be good, and let's make it that, make it be so.
Yeah.
And so I'm really hoping that it does. But you're right. I mean, it's gonna take that kind of open-mindedness, open-heartedness, and so a little bit of faith would help.
A little bit of faith would help. Yeah, and I get it. Like you know, I see differences in, say, people or their opinions, their outlook, their philosophy, their religions, all of those things, and I understand that leads to apprehension, and apprehension leads to fear, and so on, so on, so on. But look where it's gotten us. So something else clearly needs to happen.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting watching all this happen at once. With the virus, and then with the protests, and it's been, well, it's threatening. At this point, it's threatening to really break apart our country.
Mm-hmm.
In ways that I don't think anybody could have anticipated 3 months ago or 4 months ago.
Agreed.
Yeah, and that's bad. That's bad for us, but it's bad for everybody, frankly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I've read lots of posts. People say, "Oh, thank God we live in Canada," and I would say that we have our own troubles here too. You know, we have our own troubles with racism and things like that towards uh, African Canadians, I guess, as we would call them,
Yeah.
and Indigenous people and stuff like that. So we've got a lot of work to do up here as well.
Well, I think that that's probably true every single place on the planet. Um, and, and I think I had an interesting exchange with a guy who I respect quite a lot from my hometown. He's a doctor here, well regarded, excellent surgeon, but he was worried about what we're doing, you know. And he said, but there's always room to make it better. And he was right. And I was glad he said that, because even though he was skeptical about the need for what we're doing, he did agree that you could always do better. And I think that's what we're trying to do, you know. So
Yeah. Well, I wish you well with that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think it's going to be fine. Frankly, I think it's going to be a great event, and we're planning for that.
Yeah, it will be. You know, as if that's the intentions going in, then so be it. Um, I mean, I could be wrong, and I haven't been following the news in the U.S. a lot, but it seems like there's maybe one or two, you know, people that show up for the wrong reasons, and you know, the destruction and stuff like that of property and stuff like that. But it seems like the majority, a vast majority of the people are there for peaceful and good intentions.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's hard to know who they are or where they're coming from. You know, there's people on the far left and on the far right who have the intention of being disruptive, you know, causing trouble, and those of us in the middle just trying to keep everybody safe and still have a productive and positive event, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So so thanks for that song. I wish you were here to sing it. You could sing it at our event. That would be good.
Sure. Well, I'm probably going to sing it at an event here. So.
Oh, good. Yeah. I'm going to sing a Woody Guthrie song.
Yeah.
That's
he
me
was
doing
the
my
best protester there was.
Oh, he was the greatest. Yeah, I mean, for that. Yeah. But,
that was actually two of the my favorite festival experiences were both at the Woody Guthrie Festival.
Oh yeah, did you go to that?
Yeah, twice I got to go there, or maybe 3 times even. Now that I think about it, but I just loved the whole area and loved the festival. It was great.
Yeah, I've never been, and people have been inviting me to that thing for 20 years, and I just keep finding an excuse not to go. It's dumb.
You gotta go.
It's dumb, but I should go anyway. They're probably not doing it this year.
The Woody Guthrie Center, I guess it's called, in Tulsa. You got to go.
Sorry, I'm reading people commenting. Oh, very good. Well, I think we have time, John. I think we have time for one more. This is John Wort Hannam, living in Lethbridge, Alberta. He is a great singer, songwriter from a Canadian man, but he does get to the States sometimes. What's your website, John?
It's johnworthannam.com.
Easy peasy. johnworthannam.com. I'll write that in. Go check him out. You can probably buy his merchandise, maybe buy a record. Are you on Spotify?
Yes. I think I'm on them all. I'm on them all.
I just joined Spotify as a listener. I had never been on Spotify until this week. And so I resisted, and I finally decided I was like the horseback rider complaining about all the cars, you know. So I just got on.
I'm not on Spotify as a listener, but
yeah.
I'm certainly not anti Spotify. And I think about the having, you know, all the music that's ever almost been created and recorded at your fingertips. I think it's pretty amazing.
No, I do too. I agree. And if you had told me that was going to be the case, and it's free. I don't pay for Spotify. I don't know. People do pay. I don't know. There's probably more that you can get than I get, but I would be happy to pay them if I thought the money was actually going to go to the artist. But you know, we know how it goes. But anyway, I would not have believed that it could be possible that you could be walking around with a computer in your pocket that had every song ever written pretty much available to you for free.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is, and I think the positive way that musicians could look at it is as a learning device. You know, expand your horizons and listen to music from the 20s and the 50s and different genres and things like that.
Yeah,
Find things you like in them and incorporate them into your music.
right.
Yeah,
Well, as a festival presenter, I really need to be keeping up on what's happening now. Who's good, right?
sure.
I have all my favorites, and I listen to them all the time. But I should be expanding my horizons, and it's as you get older, it gets harder and harder for me, at least, to do that.
Yeah, I find as I get older, my window of what I like gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
And my tolerance for things I don't like gets larger and larger, or so my tolerance goes smaller and smaller because I feel like I'm wasting my life if I'm listening to a song I don't like.
Right, I'm the same. I feel that way about writing songs. I'll know, in the first sort of 3-4 lines if it's worth me to finish it.
Wow.
And I normally, what I used to do was finish it and then kind of go, yeah, I don't think I'll sing this. And now it's like my radar is a bit more in tune, and I'll start writing and go, it's not a good idea.
Yeah,
and I leave it.
I write much fewer songs than I used to, but I think it's the same exact reason, which is that I don't go down the false trails anymore. I just see. Oh, yeah.
I think
I look at it and I say that would be a good place for a trail, but that's not a trail.
Yeah, and the other thing I think is that people say to me, they ask me the question, when do you know when a song is finished? And I always say to them, I don't. I just know when it's not finished. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
It's like I have songs where I go, okay, I'm going to sing that now. I'm going to perform it. Is it finished? I don't know. I'm sure there's always something to improve and some little phrase that would be better. But I definitely know when it's not finished.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people are much more particular in their phrasing. When I'm writing a song, I get pretty locked in. I get pretty locked into the melody and the chord structure right away. But then I fiddle with the words for weeks,
Same.
singing it different ways. And unfortunately, sometimes I forget, like, oh, I changed that to the new way, and now I'm singing it the old way again. But eventually you get it right. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I've enjoyed talking to you, John. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Bill, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I hope this latency that I'm hearing isn't causing you issues.
No, I can't hear it. Can anybody else hear it? The latency? I'm not sure what it even means. Like an echo?
So when I speak into my mic, I'm hearing it in my headphones like a half a second later. That's why I'm taking them off. So I'm sure it's something on my end.
Yeah.
There's probably a motor in here somewhere I need to learn.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So Doug Winter says he doesn't hear that out there. So that's good.
All right. That's great.
Very good. All right. Thanks, John Wort Hannam. I'm going to take myself out, and I'll see you after the song, just very briefly. Tomorrow, we have Carolyn Mark on the show, 3:00 Central Time. If you are out west, that'll be 1:00 Victoria time, and 2:00 Mountain Time, 3:00 here, 4:00 Eastern Time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. All right. I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to tune down my guitar. Just do a different tuning here. All right. Bill, thanks for having me today. I appreciate it. This is called Young at Heart. Thanks, everybody.
May you die young at heart, at a ripe old age, when you dearly depart, One of these days, the book of life has an ending. When you turn that page, may you die young at heart at a ripe old age. May you never have enough room around your kitchen table. May friends appear like a bloom each year till they're unable. May you toast to goodwill, drink to better health. May you boast happiness still outweighs your wealth, and may it flow like a river. May that river rage. May you die young at heart at a ripe old age. May your heart fill with tinder, may your matches all be dry. When you're left with only cinder, may the last coals never die. Like the young contender, born to raise some hell, may you never surrender till the final bell. Oh, and may you make a comeback, one last fight to wage. May you die young at heart at a ripe old age. May you die young at heart at a ripe old age. When you dearly depart, one of these days, oh, the book of life has an ending. When you turn that page, may you die young at heart at a ripe old age. May you die young at heart at a ripe old age.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
If you happen to be listening in the Effingham area, I will tell you that I have a gig tonight. I kind of forgot about it, and I didn't forget about it. I just forgot that it was Thursday, and now it's Thursday. So I have a gig at 6 o'clock in about 2 hours, and I'll be at Pinky's on Lake Sarah, and hopefully the weather will be nice. But in any case, we're under the canopy, so hope to see you out there. Thanks again to John Wort Hannam, our guest today from Lethbridge, Alberta. Check out his website, johnworthannam.com. It's in the comments if you want to take a look, and go pick up some of his music, or maybe I don't know, maybe he has a T-shirt or something like that, or a beard trimmer perhaps.
A tea towel. I have tea towels.
Tea towels, nice. That's awesome. Cool. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. We got Carol and Mark at 3 o'clock tomorrow, and then next week on Tuesday I have Amanda Ann Platt from the Honeycutters, who's very, very good songwriter and performer. So join us. Keep tuning in. Thanks for being here, folks. See you all later.